Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is McKenna and today I'm reading Throne of Glass. I've been wanting to reread most of Sarah J Maas's works for a while now. And Sarah J Maas, or like the Throne of Glass series, seemed like the natural starting point. So you'll probably see videos for every single one of her books that I'm going to try to reread. And I'm going to just give a little bit of an explanation as to why I'm doing this off the bat, and then we'll kind of get into the meat of what I'm thinking about this book specifically. I have been I wanted to read this series previously because I kind of jumped in when Queen of Shadows was coming out, and then I read like the first two books, never finished the third one, and like didn't manage to move on. And then I managed to move on and read through Empire of Storms, but never finish. I never had any intention of reading Tower of Dawn, and I actually pre-ordered Kingdom of Ash and had it with me, and then ended up donating it to my library when I thought I wasn't ever going to read this series again. And then here we are. I was feeling the hype for it, especially when I was reading it. I was really enjoying it, and as will become apparent in the later of the story, I felt like I was being influenced by this hype as to that's why I was liking it so much. When I was younger, like before I actually had a channel or even a blog or even an Instagram dedicated to books, when I read, I let people influence my opinions on books. The entire selection series I decided I didn't really like because Christine from Pull and His books didn't particularly like them. Same thing with like the Throne of Glass series. The hype was big around that series, so I enjoyed it. But then there came the like criticism of the lack of diversity in Sarah J Maas's books and the kind of memeing of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So they kind of started to become that for me, like the meme, the problematic books that I didn't enjoy. Even though I hadn't read them in a while and I didn't really know. So basically that's what this is that me trying to reclaim this series that I let other people's opinions influence me on in the past. I have quite a few books like this, so if you like this, let me know. I'm gonna start with Sarah J Maas's books, which is going to be a chore to get through because she has, how many? 11. She has 11 books. And they're pretty chunky ones, like the later ones, even the earlier ones, but they're pretty chunky books. So this is probably going to take me a little while to get through, but it is my project for now. I mean, this isn't all I'm going to be reading, but this is my current one. So I'm starting with Throne of Glass because it seems like the natural starting point. And I think I'm going to go in publication order of all of her books. So I have that right here. You know, this might change in the future, but currently my plan is Throne of Glass, The Assassin's Blade, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, A Court of Thorns and Roses, Queen of Shadows, A Court of Mist and Fury, Empire of Storms, A Court of Wings and Ruin, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. And I honestly don't remember when A Court of Mist and, that's not the one, A Court of Frost and Starlight came out. So I'll have to add that whenever that came out. But yeah, that is what this vlog is about. So we'll just kind of jump into my thoughts. I already started it. I'm currently on page 39, and I'm enjoying it enough. I feel like I read it at too slow of a pace. So now it's kind of stagnant because they're not even at the castle yet. So it just seems really stagnant, and I really need to get into the meat of the story, but I haven't currently yet. I'm gonna try and push to do so.
You know I've been blind for years, and I've been crying all these tears for a reason. They came and went like seasons. But I want this to stay for as long as you can, 'cause I've been searching and searching
become a chaotic mess very quickly. If you're wondering, you're sitting on my vanity and I'm sitting on the floor because I couldn't find any other angle to do this at currently, and I just wanted to get a portion of this video in finally because I haven't done any updates since I started this book. So I started Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas a while ago. Like a while ago. I've been trudging through it. I am currently 144 pages in, which according to Goodreads is 35% of the way in, and I want to talk about this a little bit. If I didn't mention already, this is going to be a spoiler-filled vlog. So yeah, so this is one of my notes on page 9. Already less than 10 pages in, there are these warring emotions / messages. I like that she's a strong woman character, like I like that, but there's a very thin line between confidence and arrogance, and she toes the line too much for my personal liking. I know a lot of people like her character. I kind of always have found her to be a little too over the top with how she views herself. But that's my personal opinion, and I don't want people to be like, oh well, it'd be different if she was a man, because it really wouldn't. I don't like anyone having this type of confidence. This isn't confidence, this is arrogance. I don't like it. I just don't find it very appealing. I don't like it. So I'm having some issues when she gets into this, like, I am the best headspace. Just because I don't think she's the best. There's so many people, even in this world, that I just, where she says she's the best, I truly don't think she is. I think she's very good at what she does. I'm sure she is. But she also got caught. So the other thing I mentioned within like the first 15 pages is the tension between this triangle that we have going on here already. Selena, Dorian, and Kale. The tension just between these three when they're all in a group together. Ooh. Let me just read to you this specific note that I wrote. The tension between these three gets me thinking, au oui oui bonjour, Eiffel Tower, if you know what I'm saying. I hope you know what I'm saying. Because if you don't, I just confused you a lot.
Oui oui bonjour.
But there's some behind the scenes thing that we don't know if they took place or not, and I don't know, they might have got a little French. You don't know. Also, I know we talk a lot about Sarah J Maas's like later series, like later books that she writes being very sexually driven and low-key kind of kinky. But let me just read to you some of the passages that just give me like vibes that make me feel a certain way. On page 15, yes, your freedom. So I highly suggest, Miss Sardothian, that you get your arrogance in check before you end up back in the mines. Like, I know this is a power dynamic because it's Dorian, the prince, and then her, this slave that is now his champion, but I specifically wrote this is straight up kinky bastard vibes. Kale saying, shall I gag you? There was this whole scene with Kale and Selena being in the middle of a sword fight, and basically he played dirty and won, and then he said, I win. My note to that was, makes me think he would top. I just said sore loser because she's a sore loser. And then he said, pick another, something different, make it interesting too, something that will make me sweat, please. Girl. And then I have some critiques about their writing. So far there hasn't been like a lot of horses involved, but there has been this one instance in which they're riding into the kingdom and tangy smell of horsehair creeping into her nostrils. My notes were, 1, wouldn't come out of nowhere. That is not how smells work. And then 2, horsehair is an amazing smell. Yeah, those are those notes. And then the fact that she's riding in velvet shoes, I don't understand the purpose of that one at all. And then I have one more thing that I just needed to like get, maybe 2 things that I need to get out there. So first of all, this is a minor thing, but the Kale quote, "It is my occupation to worry." Where's that job? Because I should be getting paid for having anxiety if that's the case. And then second, this happens even later in this series and in Sarah J Maas's other series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, where there's this female character, and this happens a lot in books in general, especially fantasy books, which I don't understand, but there's always like one character that's playing the high school mean girl. And I don't understand why in this, I understand that these people exist, but in this fantasy world where there's unlimited possibilities, we're still reverting to this girl. This petty, like, needs to be taken down a notch, thinks she's the greatest, just high school drama bullshit girl. Why are we still doing this? I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it anymore. So just let me not see it anymore because I'm tired of it. These are grown-ass people in this book, and I guess it's like they're 18, about that age, and I know stuff still happens, but these are grown-ass people in a fantasy world. Other shit is going on that you don't need to create drama through these characters that are creating this petty high school drama bullshit. I am done. I am tired of it. Just stop. Just stop. Please just stop with it. Please. That's all I'm asking. But those are my updates for now. And we'll see as we go along what more happens. Okay, well, it's been a while since that introduction clip. And since then I've actually finished Throne of Glass, like the actual book part. But today, if you look on this nice cover, it says, "Experience the world of Throne of Glass with never before seen extras." It does say that. So I want to delve into these never before seen extras and rate them. First is a pronunciation key. I've seen this before. Selena Sardothian, K.O. Westfall, Dorian Halyard, Nehemia Yetker, Kaltain Rompier, Arobin Hamel, Elientia, Iwali, Elwal, Elway, Aurelia Terracin, Adarlin, Endovier, Orinth, Aniel, Melisande, Wendelin, and then word and word marks. Like, but I have seen this before. Also, you can see my notes. Just casually keeping track of their ages. It's fine. And then there's this little scene that is between, it's called The Captain and the Prince. It's between Kale and Dorian. I'm gonna save that till the end because that seems like the most extra, like, never before seen thing. There's a conversation with Sarah J Maas, and then the beginning of Crown of Midnight, which I'm not gonna read because I'm actually going to read Assassin's Blade next and going in their publication order as opposed to in their like technically chronological order, because I started with this. You know, if I was going to go chronological order, I would have started with the Assassin's Blade, so it's just whatever. What inspired her to write Throne of Glass? She got the idea in high school. She was a huge Disney fan. Cinderella score. What if Cinderella was an assassin who had just tried to kill the prince? Nowadays, Throne of Glass has become more of an original epic fantasy than a Cinderella retelling, but you can find a few nods to the legend here and there. Writing process, it took her 10 years to go from first draft to published book because she was through high school and college. Write whenever she could between classes after homework on vacations. Now she's a full-time writer and the writing process is different. Who do you personally identify with in Throne of Glass? She'd probably have to say Selena. Besides Selena, who else would you want on your side in a deadly competition? Oh, this is just in general. I thought it was from this book, so I don't understand anything she's saying. Favorite books as a teen: Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, The Hero and the Crown, Garth Nix. A lot of stuff I haven't heard of before, but let's take a second to read The Captain and the Prince and wage my opinions and thoughts on it.
I don't know. So when we take this love thing slow, we need to take this love thing slow. Can you hold on to my heart so slow? 'Cause there's so many ways this could go.
So we got it finished. I can't say the story was entirely necessary. It's different than what I thought it was. It is the story of Dorian and Kale's conversation before heading to Endovier about the, competition to pick up Selena. So I thought it was like supposed to be integrated into the story somewhere, and it was just deleted scene that we got afterwards, but I don't really know. Seeing as I have read other books in the series, like I've read up to Empire of Storms, I know things that are not revealed in book 1, and there are things in this story that, draw lines for me that I'm like, oh, I see that. So it's definitely interesting. There were 2 highlights for me. The first one was they were talking about how hot it was, and they said even when encircled by servants fanning them with palm fronds imported from Iwale. Yelway. However that's pronounced. I know I have a pronunciation guide, but I'm not good at it. Even when encircled by servants fanning them with palm frond. It's just wild to me that, like, I don't know. And then Dorian saying, why not have something pleasant to look at during the competition? He's just a dog. He does change throughout the course of this story, which I will talk about when I get my full in-depth thoughts. However, that's not today. Yeah, I think a lot of my, judgments with the story I just read, I should say, also stem from the fact that I just finished the 3rd book of the Selection series. So, in my mind, they're kind of like drawing lines together as well. So it's interesting. But yeah, that's my, that's that for now. So it's time to talk about how I felt about Throne of Glass. I am so sorry. I thought I put something in here already about my emotions and what I thought of everything happening, but apparently I didn't, so I apologize. I finished this book 3 weeks ago, but it's been a mess of a time, so I apologize. Let me just say, first of all, most thing I want to talk about, Selena. I am not a fan of her as a character. I'm not. I don't understand why she is such a strong character has to result to being petty about this little bitch Caltaine. It sets me off the entire book. Also, we're not gonna talk about the tension between the love triangle between Selena, Kale, and Dorian. Like, why make her choose? I'm just trying to speak from the heart here. I can't even remember. I think I gave this book like 3 stars. I enjoyed it well enough. It was more slow moving than I remember it being. The spacing between things happening was a little odd. Sometimes things would happen back to back to back, and sometimes there would be like a 50 to 70 page gap between major plot points that happened. I like the idea of the game. I just think, I don't know. I feel like as much as we wanted the game to be the main thing in this book, it didn't end up being the main thing in this book. I think that for all of the, well, she might not win, we all knew she was gonna win. And that's like, from someone reading it, having already read it, like obviously I knew what was gonna happen, but we all knew. We all knew this wouldn't be a story if she didn't win. So it was just, like, I understood her driving force to want to win, and that was cool, I guess, but we already kind of knew. It was just, I don't know. I did find it sad in this book, though. You can kind of see Dorian and Kale's friendship kind of starting to crumble at the seams in this book. I do genuinely think it's sad to see anyone's friendship crumble like this. Is sad, even to characters that I don't particularly like. I also first read this book when I was like 14, 15 maybe. When was this released? So I read it pretty shortly after it was released. So it was in 2012, 2013, 2014 then was when Air of Fire came out. So I was probably about 13, 14 when I first read this. And I adored Dorian and I hated Kale. Having reread this, I can say that I do not hate Kale anymore. I just dislike both of them. And you know, character development is bound to happen, I hope. If I'm remembering correctly, it does, but they were just kind of both unlikable in this book. And I know that some of my dislike for Kale happens later in the series, so I'm interested to see that I felt about it differently now, how I feel about it differently as I go on. I'm also going to read to you a sentence from this book, if I can find it. I think this is it. Yep. This sentence made me throw up in my mouth. I don't understand the purpose at all. The week surrounding Yulemas was a time of relaxation, a time to celebrate the carnal pleasures that kept one warm on a winter's night. We didn't check back at that sentence and we're like, maybe that's stupid. I guess not. That's fine. That's fine too. I just don't know what to say about that. So we're moving on. So, along with, you know, Dorian and Kale's relationship kind of falling apart, here's my question. Why didn't they just both realize their bisexuality and go after each other instead? That would have been so much more interesting than this. I'm sorry, Dorian stands, I apologize, but it would have been so much more interesting than this and what I know is about to come. I can't even lie to you right now. I know that would be so much more interesting. So I also want to ask, this whole like Dorian genuinely being in love with her, is he genuinely in love with her, first of all, or is he just a little prissy boy that's been spoiled too much, thinking that as soon as he can't get what he wants, it's love? Just a question, just a thought, just a concern. Secondly, when she breaks his heart, I feel like this is a turning, I feel like even in the book you can kind of see his change, that shift in him. So is that a turning point? Maybe. We'll see. We will see. I feel like this is the beginning of this series is a little more suited for a younger audience, and that's just my personal opinion. I don't know, I just haven't fallen head over heels for these characters yet. I feel like they're acting a little bit more like they're in high school than royalty in a castle. My personal opinion again. I don't. Also, I just want to ask, why is Kale 22 years old? Like, he's 3 years older than Dorian and 4 years older than Selena. Why? Just why? Because he had to be 21 to fill the captain of the guard position. It just seems like a weird age to begin with, and then a weird age gap with the other two main characters in this one. Again, personal opinion, personal preference, personal everything. I also did get like a little bit of a Hunger Games flashback, because I reread Hunger Games earlier this year when they were like, you know, play down your strengths, play down your strengths. Like, I understand that strategy, but people obviously knew by the time that she was still trying to play them down, so why not just be like, actually. I guess it worked because she won in the end, but also that's literally what they told Katniss Everdeen to do in the Hunger Games. Just gonna point that one out there. Another one. I'm pretty sure this is Jonas. I can't remember, but they have a masquerade ball. I did sticky notes for some things. I just literally went off on a sticky note about why I don't understand the point of fucking masquerade balls. Why? I'll read this point blank. I don't get the point of masquerade balls. Like, I get in situations where they want to build drama-ish because it wasn't really that dramatic. But why wouldn't you want to know who you were around talking to and dancing with? I don't know, man. They're not my thing. Yeah, why would you want to go to a masquerade ball? Wouldn't you want to know who you were around? Unless you wanted to remain anonymous and you wanted your anonymity. But if you wanted to know other people, why would you do it? I guess that's my question. I don't know, I think they're fucking stupid. But I just don't get the point. I genuinely just don't get the point. So I apologize for not getting the point. And maybe that point was never mine to get in the first place then. Yeah, I don't think I really have anything else on this book. Just the fact that Dorian in this book is still a spoiled little rotten prince. As much as he tries to be like, oh yeah, I'm different. He's still not great. So yeah, that's really all I've got. Kale needs to stop being so stoic, have some fun every once in a while. Dorian needs to not be so spoiled. And Selena needs to get off her high horse. Like, I understand that you're great and whatever, but arrogance isn't cute on anyone. Confidence, yes. You have crossed the territory into arrogance. I don't want all those comments that are like, you wouldn't say that if it were. I hate fucking arrogant men as well. I hate arrogant people. I don't. Arrogance isn't a trait that I admire. So to see someone with arrogance, this bitch, not a fan. Not a fucking fan. thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But this has been my reading vlog-ish for Throne of Glass. Tune in next time to see me read The Assassin's Blade for absolutely the first time in my entire life. I never read this before, so that should be really fucking interesting. Thank you if you've made it to this point in the video, if you've watched this entire video. Make sure to like and subscribe. You know, comment down below how you feel about the Throne of Glass series, if you've ever even read it. If you haven't and you've still watched all the way through with all these spoilers, I apologize. It's been real. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.